I am constantly asked. My girlfriend wants me to pay more attention to her and often asks for gifts. What is the right way to react to all this? Buddy, you caught a special woman. Or rather, you got caught. You fell into a special type of girl who are on the needle of dopamine and encouragement, attention, admiration, courtship, compliments, gifts. This is all oxygen for such a woman. Without it, she will be physically ill, and you need to think if she's worth it. Is it normal to demand attention? We are told that a woman's dependence on attention is the norm, that endless highs are almost a basic need for a woman, and if we do not meet this need, it's our fault. Let's face it, if a girl feels bad without strong doses of dopamine, there's something wrong with her. How does a woman develop this addiction? The first reason is narcissism, which is developed from the modern cult of beauty. Never in the history of mankind have women spent so much time and effort trying to look more attractive. And when you have invested heavily in something, you demand as much reward for it as possible. She wants an endless stream of dopamine highs as a reward for her efforts. Should you invest in her? These days, women watch and read a lot of stuff like, "How can a woman love herself?" After such content, a woman's ego inflates and she stops listening to common sense. For example, I will quote internet psychologists. If a man spends on a woman, he will get the return on the investment tenfold. Women like this quote, repost and clap their hands. After all, this quote puts them on the same level with God. And after this quote, I have a question. Why don't I help some poor granny? Or then I won't get the return. Apparently, you definitely need a properly accredited woman in which you can throw a coin and are guaranteed to get a cashback. Therein lies a problem, in the fact that a gift to a woman is supposedly something magical, and all the other efforts of a man are boring, useless routine. That's how we understand that we are faced with a toxic, problematic young lady. How relationships with those women play out. There are only two scenarios of a relationship with those women. First is a situation where a man has to always be on the alert in order to boost the ego of his chosen one. He thinks, I will turn her life into a fairy tale, and she will love me for it. My woman knows exactly what she wants from life. But we understand that the balance of significance is clearly in her favor, and it will only get worse in the future. Pay attention. At the beginning, this same girl could rejoice at the paper rose that you made from a napkin. And a little later, even Cartier and Tiffany do not cause any delight. In this scenario, the man feeds all this attention to the woman and waits for her to feel full. But her craving has no end. The more you give today, the more you need tomorrow. And one day, she will simply vomit it all onto you and say, feelings have disappeared somewhere. I don't know what I want. Bye. A strong position. If you are a dominant man and correctly placed yourself at the beginning of your relationship, then the woman will not demand too much attention. She still understands your objective value and does not want to take risks. But in this case, the girl will find an emotional resource on the side, male friends, explicit photos on social networks, provocative outfits, and the like. That is, you will not hear complaints for a long time because the girl will have cheap substitutes. However, as soon as you lose a strong position in a relationship, a woman will read you a prepared list of claims of attention that she didn't get from you. She will tell you that it's time to submit to her. Why do men choose such women? Such woman creates around herself an atmosphere filled with dopamine. She demands an endless holiday, and when you obey, she rejoices and you get the echoes of this joy. That's why for a long time you can ignore her audacity, vulgar behavior, and other discomfort. In such a situation, a man always believes that he gives her everything because he wants to. In such cases, I always ask the question, were there women who behaved better than the current one? The man said there were. I then asked, did you do the same for them? He shook his head and said no. Don't you think this is strange? Think about it. How much attention is enough? I want to emphasize, I am not against gifts. I believe that any person actually likes to give gifts more than to receive. Multiple times I told my wife, "Let's buy it for you." And she replies, "No, it's not necessary. It's expensive." And I had to insist on buying. And I know that this is not some kind of bluff, because I can give nothing at all, and she will not be upset. Nothing will change. I can be busy working for a long time, not devote any time to her, but no complaints or resentment will arise. I don't understand the claim about the lack of attention in the usual sense. I choose a woman as a partner and not as an infantile burden that needs to be endlessly entertained and fed with hormones. An indicative moment. If I need to record a new video, then my wife will immediately ask me how to help, or she will ask if she and the children need to free the apartment for a while, so as not to interfere with me. She thinks about how to facilitate my work, focuses on our common good. But the attention seeker would say, "Oh, you're busy again. You don't spend enough time with me. And anyway, I need compensation for the fact that you work hard. Let's buy something for me." I don't invent anything. These are the stories with which people turn to me, and I have seen this in my life. This kind of a woman cannot be a partner in your life. She's like a mosquito. He doesn't care about your mood, whether he hurts you or not. He simply wants to drink your blood in order to satisfy his need. But it's stupid to be offended by a mosquito because it's just in its nature. Likewise, one should not be offended by such a woman. It is important to understand that your relationship for her is a drug to satisfy the need for dopamine. In fairness, I'll say that women with relationship problems write to me every day. Sometimes they say that a man pays little attention to them and the relationship. But these are completely different stories. The man completely neglects her, doesn't write for weeks. Most likely he doesn't plan a joint future. At the same time, the woman does not try to manipulate. She just questions whether he wants to be together, to which a man does not give a clear answer. After all, he doesn't know what he wants. He lives like a child. Today I want, but tomorrow I don't want to. This is a person who is absolutely not ready for serious relationship. So the method that I'm talking about requires first of all to be a mature person and not lie to yourself. Does she care about you? Very often men write that at the end of a relationship, a woman treated her man worse than a stranger. I remember a story of a couple who lived together for many years. They were sitting in a group after a hike. It was cold outside, and there was only one blanket. So the wife offered the blanket not to her husband, but to his friend. Although the husband was dressed like everyone else, but the wife didn't even look at him. The man was speechless. She wanted a praise from anyone but her husband. For such a girl, close ones are the most unimportant people. From you, she has already received a satisfaction. She got her dopamine fix. You are outdated. There will be no partnership with such a woman. All her connections are temporary.